In Ridley Scott's Gladiator 2, it's strongly implied that Denzel Washington's Macrinus is bisexual. Introduced as a cunning member of Rome's elite who gains friends and influence by buying slaves and turning them into gladiators, Macrinus is as ruthless as he is charismatic. Furthermore, it's teased on more than one occasion that Gladiator 2's primary antagonist is attracted to both men and women. Set 16 years after the events of Ridley Scott's first Gladiator movie, Rome is full of corruption and has fallen under the rule of twin emperors, Geta, Joseph Quinn, and Caracalla, Fred Hachinger. Likewise, Lucius, Paul Mescal, is the grown-up son of the late Maximus Decimus Meridius, Russell Crowe, and the secret heir to the Roman throne as Marcus Aurelius' grandson, following in his father's footsteps as a slave-turned-gladiator under the control of Macrinus who seeks to rule Rome himself. To that end, it's confirmed both off-screen and on that Gladiator 2's Macrinus is more than likely bisexual in the new sequel. Gladiator 2 suggests Macrinus is bisexual. It's implied Macrinus doesn't just prefer women. Denzel Washington looking ahead as Macrinus in Gladiator 2. One of the first moments in which Denzel Washington's Macrinus is teased as being bisexual in Gladiator 2 comes during a conversation with one of his Roman allies about Connie Nielsen's Lucilla and the fate of her son Lucius, who was believed to have been lost shortly after the deaths of Maximus and Emperor Commodus, Joaquin Phoenix. Already suspicious about his gladiator's true identity, Macrinus learns there were false rumors that Commodus was Lucius' father despite being Lucilla's brother. However, Macrinus is also told that Commodus was seemingly not attracted to women, to which Macrinus replies that some days the same is true of himself some days. Keeping this response in mind, it's not hard to surmise from this scene in Gladiator 2 that Macrinus is implying that some days he might prefer men over women. However, any verbal confirmation one way or the other doesn't come about during this scene, nor any other in the new sequel. However, some key points have been made off-screen that further confirm Macrinus' sexuality beyond what's seen on the screen alone. Gladiator 2 cut a same-sex kiss involving Macrinus. A point of debate between Washington and director Ridley Scott. It's well worth noting that Denzel Washington did say in interviews that Macrinus is meant to be bisexual in Gladiator 2, regardless of what's seen or inherently said on screen. Furthermore, Washington recently claimed that a same-sex kiss between Macrinus and a Roman senator was ultimately cut from the film. As such, the character in question was most likely Tim McInerney's Senator Thrakes, one of Macrinus' allies in the film, who ends up owing him a large sum of money thanks to Lucius' ongoing victories in the Colosseum. Thrakes is also the senator who tips Macrinus off to General Marcus Acacius, Pedro Pascal, and his attempt to free Lucius at Lucilla's request. Likewise, Macrinus and Thrakes do share multiple kisses on the cheeks, head, and hands during one scene in Gladiator 2, so it's not hard to imagine an outright kiss was cut at some point. That said, director Ridley has refuted those claims from Washington, having clarified that while the duo might have acted as if they had had a same-sex kiss before Macrinus kills a Roman senator, it was never filmed to begin with. Would Macrinus being gay or bisexual fit with ancient Rome? Most emperors were bisexual according to actual history. Macrinus, Denzel Washington, presiding over the Roman Senate in Gladiator 2. While the real-life Macrinus was not bisexual, Denzel Washington's Macrinus being bisexual in Gladiator 2 does fit with what's known from ancient Roman history in general. After all, almost every Roman emperor was reportedly quite fluid in their sexual preferences, and hardly any were heterosexual. To that end, it's a prominent facet of ancient Roman society that's featured to a degree with Macrinus, and even more so with the movie's twin emperors, whom Macrinus eventually murders ahead of Gladiator 2's ending and final scenes.